While in the main menu, select the Options menu. Next, press either L2 or R2 to activate the extra options. The extra options allow for much more customability towards Harry's movement when it comes to more advanced controls such as weapon, view, retreat, or walk/run. However, the point of interest here is a couple of unique unlockable options that change the gameplay in a significant way. Self-view mode is first unlocked by completing the game at least once, regardless of whatever ending you receive. Once self-view is selected, you must hold L2 to shift to this unique perspective where the camera is locked behind Harry's head, working similarly to an over-the-shoulder camera angle. Bullet Adjust functions as a bullet multiplier, adding additional ammo capacity to each firearm, such as the handgun, shotgun, or hunting rifle. This is unlocked by completing the game at least once, regardless of the ending. By doing so, it unlocks ×1 and ×2. In total, the maximum capacity the bullet adjust is set to is ×6. To reach this maximum bullet adjustment, you must complete the 4 other endings in-game upon each consecutive playthrough. There are approximately 5 endings. Upon completing the game, you can unlock the Next Sphere playthrough. Next Sphere acts as a New Game Plus, allowing for multiple subsequent playthroughs to unlock different weapons, new difficulty modes, and endings. By starting your next playthrough, you can access 2 previously inaccessible weapons seen in your first playthrough, the chainsaw and the rock drill. To access these weapons, however, you first need to acquire the gas tank, as this is needed to fuel both weapons individually. The gas tank is accessible by entering the garage located next to Hell Gas Station. Once the gas tank is acquired, it can be used to power either the chainsaw or rock drill. However, the caveat is that you can only power one of these weapons, and you can carry only one of them for the duration of the playthrough. For example, if you choose the chainsaw for the second playthrough, then you would have to play on a third playthrough to use the gas tank again on the rock drill. Unfortunately, not only can you use the gas tank as fuel to properly use these as weapons, but you cannot have these weapons simultaneously in your inventory. However, once on a fourth playthrough, upon using the gas tank on both the chainsaw and rock drill previously, then the gas tank will not be necessary to fuel these respective weapons and instead can be used without it. Both weapons will also be seen in your inventory as opposed to individually. The chainsaw can be found on Block Street in the Cut Right Chainsaw store through a smashed window. The chainsaw acts and functions as a melee weapon that deals significant damage upon using it on the monsters in game by slicing them in half instantly. To turn on and use, hold the R2 button and tap the X button to input standard swings. Alternatively, you can hold the X button to enact a downward slash with a chainsaw. The rock drill can be found on the first floor of the O Ridge control room. The rock drill functions similarly to a firearm. As Harry holds the weapon towards an enemy, he stands still to bait the monster into running into the drill to deal damage to themselves. To use, hold the R2 button and press X to stab enemies with a forward motion to extend its range. The katana can be found in a locked side room in the 11th Street house that is only accessible upon completing the game with a good and bad ending. Once both of these endings have been completed, Harry can enter the previously locked side room in 11th House Street to find a Japanese-themed room with a katana. The katana functions as a melee weapon with significant and heavy damage output that instantaneously kills an enemy upon impact. It has phenomenal range that provides effective distance between Harry and the monsters if used correctly. To use, hold the R2 button to raise the katana and press X to perform standard melee swings. By holding the X button, you can perform a downward slash. A recurring running gag seen throughout the Silent Hill series is the joke ending called UFO ending. Typically, the UFO ending is a secret ending that is unlocked through specific requirements that mostly see the player having to use a channeling stone as a means to contact and summon the Greys, the aliens of the Silent Hill universe, at various locations throughout the story. To unlock the UFO ending, you must complete the game once, then start the game on a second playthrough to find the aforementioned channeling stone in the convenience store 8. Once this item is obtained, you'll have to use it at 5 different locations throughout the story. The first location is the rooftop of Midwich Elementary School during the nightmare sequence. The second location is the front entrance of Alchemilla Hospital during the nightmare sequence. The third location is the parking lot at Norman's Motel in the resort area. The fourth location is inside the boat cabin during the Nightmare Resort area sequence. The fifth and final location is at the Lakeside Pier Lighthouse, more specifically at the top of the lighthouse. If done correctly, you'll unlock the UFO ending. Here, Harry makes contact with the Greys, asking them if they have seen a little girl, referencing Cheryl, only to be met with getting incapacitated by a laser gun and held captive as their prisoner. From here, Harry would make subsequent appearances in future UFO endings such as Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3. Upon completing the UFO ending, you get rewarded with the Hyper Blaster. This weapon is set in your inventory once starting a new playthrough after exiting Cafe 5-2. The Hyper Blaster has infinite ammunition, will automatically lock onto any enemy, has an excellent long range, and deals heavy damage. There are 3 variations of the laser for the Hyper Blaster, dependent on the player's star ranking of their overall high score on the results screen upon completing the game. For example, a 0 to 7 star ranking will reward you with a red laser, an 8 to 9 star ranking will reward you with a yellow laser, and a 10 star ranking will reward you with a green laser. Much of the atmosphere, design, and narrative of Silent Hill 1 are heavily influenced and inspired by the Western pop culture media, such as literature, films, artists, or even authors. For example, many of the street signs you see in Old Silent Hill, Central Silent Hill, and the resort area are based on real-world authors. Bachman Road is a reference to Richard Bachman, a pen name Stephen King used at the time. Block Street is a reference to Robert Bloch. Bradbury Street is a reference to Ray Bradbury. Elroy Street is a reference to James Elroy. Finney Street is a reference to Jack Finney. Matheson Street is a reference to Richard Matheson. Levin Street is a reference to Ira Levin. Midwich Street is a reference to the 1957 novel The Midwich Cuckoos, written by the English author John Wyndham. Midwich Elementary School took heavy inspiration from the movie Kindergarten Cop, more specifically, John Jacob Astor Elementary School, filmed in Astoria, Oregon. In Cafe 5-2, there are a couple of references to various pop culture media. By the notebook to save your game, there's a poster with text that reads, "Study dammit." This is a reference to a young Stephen King with a shotgun that was taken during his time in college. Next to this poster is the pinball machine Medieval Madness. On the window of the cafe, there is a poster of the 1997 song All Mine by the electronic music band Portishead. Portishead is known to heavily influence the works of Akira Yamaoka, where he also uses another song from Portishead's album, Dummy, with the song Sour Times to sample the main theme of Silent Hill 1, Hometown. In Cafe 5-2, when you save your progress in the notebook for the first time, you can find a text that reads, "Someday, someone may experience these bizarre events. Hopefully, they will find my notes useful." This is a reference to a text found in Stephen King's 1980 novella, The Mist, which reads, "I'm going to leave these pages on the counter and perhaps someday someone will find them and read them." The convenience store 8, located on Bachman Road, is a reference to 7-Eleven. The gas station, located near Balkan Church, Hell Gas Station, is a reference to Shell Gas Station. Hilariously, if you look closely at the logo, you can see the S in Shell scribbled out, along with a Shell logo next to it. On Block Street, you can find a garage door with the words Red Rum written in red, a reference to The Shining. Next to this is a pixelated graphic of the alcohol brand Jack Daniels. The building next to it has a pixelated graphic of the alcohol brand Jim Beam. Inside the Old Ridge Bridge control room are Playboy magazines on the table. Down the road on Block Street is a building called Boston Market, a reference to the fast food chain Boston Market. The newspaper stand located in the town of Silent Hill has a headline that reads, "Bill Skins 5th. This is a reference to the antagonist character Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. The newspaper in-game directly references a newspaper also seen in the film. At the end of Block Street is a store called Cut Right Chainsaws. This is a reference to another store seen in the film Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. On Bachman Road, the fast food chain, Queen Burger, is a reference to the fast food chain Burger King. In Central Silent Hill, there are once again street names that directly reference authors. Creighton Street is a reference to Michael Creighton. Kuntz Street is a reference to Dean Kuntz. Saigon Street is a reference to American astronomer Carl Sagan. Simmons Street is a reference to Dan Simmons. The restaurant, A Movable Feast, is a reference to Ernest Hemingway's memoir of the same name. At the end of Simmons Street, you can find 2 posters that are advertisements for the 1976 film, Carrie. On the same street, you can also find the store, Mushnick's Florist. If you were to walk up closely to the storefront, you can find a sign with a name that reads, Audrey Jr. These are all references to the 1960 film, Little Shop of Horrors. At Movie Theater 3, the film, Shoot, references Raiders of the Lost Ark, and the film Crusher Dan references Die Hard 2. The store, Chinese Art Goods, when translated from Mandarin to English, reads Bruce Lee, a reference to the martial artist Bruce Lee. Inside the police station, you can find a poster next to the Central Silent Hill map. The poster is a reference to Exposition Universelle. The store, Andy's Bookstore, makes an appearance in Silent Hill Origins and Silent Hill 2 Remake. The drugstore, Green Pharmacy, also makes an appearance in Silent Hill 2 Remake. The fast food chain, Konami Burger, is a reference to the Japanese video game publisher, Konami. Konami Burger also makes an appearance in Silent Hill Origins. Inside Silent Hill Town Center, there's a retail store called Vestal Gigastore. This is a reference to the retail store, Virgin Megastore. In the resort area, there are once again street names that are references to authors. Craig Street is a reference to Lillian Craig, a pen name that the author Kit Craig went by. Sanford Street is a reference to John Sanford. Norman's Motel is a reference to the fictional character Norman Bates, the main protagonist of the 1959 novel Psycho. Inside the building, Indian Runner, there are boxes with the name FedEx, a reference to FedEx. The fast food chain Mech Burger is a reference to McDonald's. Silent Hill 3 is known to be a direct sequel to Silent Hill 1, therefore it would only be natural for direct references from Silent Hill 1 to reappear in Silent Hill 3. In Lakeside Amusement Park, the magic ice cream house that appears in Silent Hill 1 also serves as a save point in Silent Hill 3. The Happy Carousel is used as a boss fight with Sybil Bennett, and in Silent Hill 3 with Memory of Alessa. Alessa's classroom appears in Nowhere in Silent Hill 1, and appears in the chapel in Silent Hill 3. Alessa's hospital room from Silent Hill 1 appeared originally in either Nightmare Alchemilla Hospital or Nowhere. Alessa's hospital room reappears in Silent Hill 3 in the chapel. Alessa's bedroom is used as the final save point in both Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3 before their respective final boss fights. Finally, this fan before the final boss fight in Silent Hill 3 is previously seen in Silent Hill 1 and Nightmare Midwich Elementary School. As far as I'm concerned, those are all the secrets and Easter eggs found in Silent Hill 1. I hope this video acts as an in-depth guide of sorts when it comes to trivia on unlockables or references. If there is anything I missed, please feel free to leave a comment below as it would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, that's me. Thank you for watching, please have a great day, stay safe, and goodbye.